Alright, I'm just going to show you real quick how we change this hub with the bad wheel speed sensor in it. I'll put a link to that video up above. These brake calipers use 14mm bolts, and we just need to pull off. Oh no, I'm sorry, the caliper uses 14, but the brake caliper bracket, which we want to pull off the whole bracket just so we don't have to tear that all apart, those use 15. So let me get 15. I'm going to try to do this job with my Harbor Freight tools. I don't know. I don't have snap-on. It might all go wrong. It might never stop again. No, I don't know. We'll see. I need my longer ratchet, but I'm going to try this. So we just hook on there and there. Get that one loose. And I already have the wheel speed sensor unplugged back there. So you want to make sure you unplug that before you go hammering on the hub to get it out. And this one's going to take a short 15. This is a Trades Pro socket. I don't know where these come from. I don't know where half my tools come from. I don't remember. I just buy them when I lose them somewhere. God. Pinch my darn hand. That's gonna leave like a little blood blister, I think. Oh well, it'll heal up in a day or two. Well, let's get this out of here. Come on. I could grab my electric ratchet, I guess. Again, it's not a snap-on one. I don't know if it's gonna work. It's not a snap-on or Mako, but it is hyper tough, so I think maybe it will work. You know, I'd be worried if it was a hyper weak. I'm gonna need the deep socket on that to fit that in there. Woo, that actually seemed to work. Thank goodness. Man, you always gotta worry when you're not using the snap-on tools. Okay, there we go. Now we're just ready to kind of pry this a little, both side to side, and pull that off of there. I'm going to use a hook and try to hook it somewhere if I can. We'll try to hook it around this coil spring here. There we go. Now we're ready to take off our rotor. A lot of times you got to kind of hit these a little and get them to break loose. That one's on there. I still have my wheel adapter on here. That's the problem. So this has the aftermarket wheels and it has these little plastic adapters. So let me get a screwdriver and pry that off. I think that's what's holding it on there. Oh, heck. Okay. Broke it a little bit, but it'll still adapt the wheel. Okay, now let's hit it up time. Oh darn it, look. Some idiot put the freaking bit back in the rotor. No wonder it won't come off. I wonder who did that last time they did brakes on it. Okay. Got my Nico star bit set. These Nico sets are really great. I rarely, if ever, break one. They're really good and strong and durable, and they're really cheap. This has the E-Torx in it too. I'll put a link to it down below. That one's a little loose. Let's try this one. And we'll try the next size up and see if that fits. That one doesn't fit so well. We'll just put this on our little 14 volt DeWalt impact. Oh shoot, she just broke. The tip broke off, but it broke flush. I was accidentally using the security bits instead of the solid ones though. Darn it. So yeah, some of them have a little hole in the end and they're weaker there. Oh well, it's still good enough to use. I was just bragging them up too. Okay, now our rotor comes off. Okay. So now we have our hub right here. I'll bring you guys in here and show you. So there's our hub, there's our bolts. You have this big hole is big enough to fit down in here and get to the bolts, and you can just turn it and get to those bolts. And those are going to be 13. I'm going to use my big DeWalt. Just take those bolts out like that. Turn it this way. Take those out. And now you make sure your wheel speed sensor is unplugged from the back. And then you just get this sucker. Here she comes. Boom. Knock her out like that. Now what I'll do is clean some of this corrosion out of here and make this good and solid. Although you can probably just scrape this off with a screwdriver or something if you don't have the air tools, right? And you probably don't have to worry about that, but I will clean it off with the whizzer and a grinder, and then we'll get the hub put in there. Right, so the first thing I have is just a straight die grinder. This is a Central Pneumatic, good quality tool. But I just have a little carbide cutter on here, and I'll just go over here and remove some of this corrosion from the inside really lightly. Don't push too hard, ground big gouges in it. Okay, that gets rid of that corrosion. And then we'll have to take and hook up our other one. This is an Ingersoll Rand. This is a good one. I'm just gonna clean this off with a zip disc. we go. And now since I'm using the used hub, I'm just gonna clean the edge of this off too, right here, so that all gets flush. Alright, that's good enough. Now we're going to take and put this back in here. But our sensor comes down and plugs in this way. So we want to make sure that we put this in here the right direction for the sensor to plug into it. It's going to be just like that. And we're just going to take and put our bolt in. Put one of them in there. Help hold that sucker in. Let me grab this impact there. I'm just gonna go real slow with it. Okay. That's the wrong bolt. That's why. Okay. I had the brake caliper bolt. So we'll make sure this is pointed towards the back here. We'll throw this in. There we go. And we'll just go ahead and throw the rest of these bolts in here and we'll be set. The key to starting a bolt with an impact wrench, especially one that has this nice little thing right here to guide it in, is to just hold it back and just barely let the threads grab on their own. Don't push it in there at a weird angle or it'll cross thread on you. Get it kind of lined up. There you go. There we go. So that's all done without any snap-on tools. It's amazing. People just give me a hard time because I don't have big expensive tools sometimes. What I'm going to do is clean off this inside rotor surface as well with the Whizzy wheel, just to make sure I get all that rust out of there so it all sits up there nice and flush. So now you can kind of see where it's kind of has some rusty spots here where the holes were in this hub. So I'm going to just make sure I line that up with the spot that the screw went into. Maybe. This one did not have a screw. So So this is obviously an aftermarket one that didn't even have a screw. Let me show you. So normally I want to match it up, match those rust spots up with these holes, and you can just line it up with the screw. You don't have to put the screw back in, but you can if you have a hole, but really those are just there when they assemble the car. This one don't have a spot for a screw on it, so I'm going to look for the biggest hole, which is this one. I'll put it towards the top, and that'll line up with this spot in the back of the rotor, just to kind of help it stay nice and even, you know. And so we'll put that back on there, which will kind of help hold the rotor in place while we put the caliper back on. And I'll go ahead and plug in my wheel speed sensor now so I don't forget it. Okay, that's plugged in. All right. So now we gotta get our caliper out. Don't forget your hook for your caliper if you use one. I can't tell you how many of those I've lost and then found again a few years later. Oh, come on. Try to get this to go in there. There we go. Now we just gotta line up one of our bolts, some of our brake caliper bolts back here with the hole. Once we get the first one in, the other one's pretty easy. Okay, that one started. Now we'll take our other one, we'll put that in down at the bottom. We'll take our deep 15, we'll take our shallow 15, go for the bottom bolt first. Oh, that's loosening it. Darn it. Oh, crap. Hang on. Kind of got them all crooked there. All right. As far as I'm going to get it with that one, I'll do the rest by hand. Just have a hard time fitting that ratchet down in there. I'll do this top bolt. Okay. Now we'll just go down here and hand tighten. Bottom one. I want to pull this tight. It's got to be good and tight. Okay. And then, if I can reach this one. Okay. Make this one good and tight. There. Okay. There we go. We're done. We have a new wheel hub. We're ready to put the tire back on. We know this one works. We're all set. So now all I have left to do is the catalytic converter. But yeah, so there's your brake caliper bolts right there in case you need to know where those are at. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. And if you have a new hub, you won't have to do as much cleaning, or a new rotor, you know, but yeah, if you need brakes, this is a perfect time to go ahead and do them. But these brakes actually aren't worn out very much at all. They have relatively low mileage on them, but they've been on here for like 3 years now. So all right, that's all I got, folks. Oh, you know what I forgot? Okay. We gotta take this all back apart now. I'm just gonna leave this in the video too. I'm not even gonna edit it out. I hate it when that happens, darn it. I mean, you wouldn't have to put that back on, but I'm going to. It's just a shield. But, you know. Be very careful if you go out for this bottom bolt from the top that you don't hit the ABS sensor. I'm going to unplug that again too, because it kind of sticks out in the way of the ratchet. So you probably want to go to those from the bottom and go up this way for that bottom bolt. Okay. Let me find my sockets. We'll take this top one out. Look, I'm on Titan. You switch it to Lucerne. There's that one. I'll try to get that one the rest of the way with this ratchet if I can get it down in there. If I can get it down in there. Alright, there we go. Hang this up here. Take this off. We're gonna take these out. Okay. Now we gotta put this back on. See how it goes. Let's go this way. Yeah, it goes that way. Okay. Now we're gonna put this back in here. Make sure our ABS sensor wire is aimed the right direction. I'm going to just clean this off just a little bit right around here. Just a little, make sure there's no big rusty spots. Clean back over here. Okay, there we go. Now we'll make sure this is aimed the right direction. I probably wouldn't have screwed up like that if I had snap-on tools. I would have remembered. That's why I'm an amateur. I don't have the professional tools. Just make sure it's good and snug. Make sure we snug this one up real good. Yeah, okay. You can't hit it too hard with this. You'll break these bolts off if you hit too long and hard. This is a really powerful impact gun. It's more powerful than any of the air ones I got. be kind of a pain. Kind of a pain. Oh, come on, don't make me go get a pair of pliers. There. That bolt head's a little rusty. Alright, so we got that back on. Now we can put our rotor back in. And we gotta make sure we line it up with the big rusty spot with the big hole. There we go. Alright, now we're just gonna put this back down on here. There we go. We're gonna line up our top bolt. Of course, it's going to be a bigger pain in the butt to get lined up this time. I'll go ahead and just kind of tighten that one down a little where it goes. And then we'll start the bottom one. Let me put this on tighten. We'll leave it kind of loose where we can still move it to get the bottom one lined up. Okay, I'll get my short socket. And we'll put that on here. Come on. This thing's annoying. That's as far as I can get it with that. Switch over to the ratchet. Sheriff's going somewhere in a hurry. Okay. Alright. And then we'll plug our ABS sensor back in. That's plugged back in. We're all good. Alright. Put our plastic ring back on here for our wheels. By the way, this did not come with the plastic rings when I bought the car, and the wheels would go on here and be slightly off center, right? And so I bought these plastic rings from the Ukraine, believe it or not, someplace in the Ukraine on eBay, to get the right ones that fit. I had to measure them up real careful and figure out which ones fit those rims, because these are Elbrus wheels or whatever, and they're out of business. They don't make wheels anymore. So I had to look up a custom ring for it to get those to fit. So I don't want to lose that. Although I did order 2 sets of them, so I have extras. Because they were only like $5. Yeah. Alright. So that's how you replace the wheel speed sensor. Don't forget to put your back plate on if you're doing it. But you'd be surprised how many times I forget to put the freaking back plate on when I'm doing hubs. I have to do them a second time. This happens. Alright, that's all I got, folks. So I'll talk to you later. It's Tom with Frugal Prepper.